Hey there, welcome back. So in the last video, we stopped at home page where we were trying to create the language drop-down component. That's where we stopped. So in this video, we'll try to complete that part pending in that home page and then move ahead with the editor page. Okay. So before starting even writing the before even starting the writing component drop down language drop down component, I would like to add the dependencies that is needed for this application. Okay, so the dependencies are, these are all the dependencies that is needed for this application, that is next id next for language translations, and nextjs hyphen progress bar. This is for, like, if you are navigating to different page. Okay, and to indicate that it is navigating to the different page as a progress bar, so for that I'm using this. And headless UI React is for, like, showing models and dialogues. For that I'm trying using this headless UI React. And monoc editor, this is for editing the markdown language for particular section, so that is why the monoc editor. And dnd kit is drag and drop kit core for the so that the sections item would be sortable and also draggable in the order the user wanted to keep. So the dnd could kit core and modifier and sortable is for that purpose. And react markdown is to read that markdown, and similarly remark hyphen gfm. Okay, so first let's install them and go ahead with the language dropdown component. Okay, yeah. So that's trying to install. Okay, so let's check the package.json file. Yeah, so the dependencies that we need are installed. So next what I'll do is, like, I've created one folder, components folder. So in this I'll try to create all the components that we'll be needing for this application. So let me create the component called language drop down. Okay, so this is where we will try to define the component for the language selection and see what language it can support or not. Okay, so I will create here one list. So this is nothing but stating language that we are going to support. So nothing but the list of the language that we are going to support. For now we will support just the two language, but the same process can be followed for the any other language too. Okay, so this is the language English, and the route will be the default one. Okay, and this again we are going to support Telugu now, and route is TL. Okay, so that is just the language supports array, so that we can dynamically render the list of the language it supports. Okay, in the drop down. So now let's create this component, export const language drop down. Okay, so fine. So and here I will just create a template for that. So we create a div that is standard and class name. So make this as a group, and display I'll make this as inline block, and also apply relative. Okay, fine. So add button, so that whenever it clicks on it, on or hovering on it. Okay, so this button is nothing but the kind of arrow down selector. Okay, so again some styling for this, make this as a text gray S800, so little darker, and the padding y direction is a 2, and the padding x direction I'll make this as a 4, and a rounded, and the display I'll make this as a inline flex, and the items as center. Okay, fine. and here I'll create one span inside this so that I can add the image of the language selection. Okay, so margin right, I'll make this margin right as 1 and add image here, and do some styling for this with this auto, and height I'll make it as 10 and margin right as 1. Okay, and the source is language.svg, okay, which is present in the public folder. Okay, and name this as kind of like language selector. Okay, fine. So that was the image thing. So after this, one more thing, what we'll do is like we'll add one svg, like kind of a download arrow, so that it indicates that there is a list of that we can see. Okay, so for that I have noted down in the note part, so I'll refer from there. Okay, so let me take that for now. So here, so this I will refer this. Later you guys can refer the code base which I'll be sharing. So beneath this svg, so the button part is done. So next is as soon as we hover on that button, the list that it should be displayed. For that we'll design one unordered list, and styling will make this as absolute and make text in that as a gray 800, and padding top, little padding top is 1, and the original gate top I'll make it as origin top. So this is nothing but transform origin to top. Okay, and transform GPU. So these are like some stylings after having experimented. Okay, so again transition transform, so I'll add this, and the scale initially no scale, so make it as a 0, but if a group power is there, so we'll scale it to 100 in y direction. Okay, so that is group power, so let me type that. Okay, so scale 100, and also if focus within, same will apply the scale in y direction 100. Okay, so that's the unordered list. Now we will make use of the list we have defined for language supports and display that in the form of the list. Okay, so that is language supports dot map, and destructure that label and route, right? And now we will get the index as well for the key purpose, and then here we'll define the list and the key. What we'll do is I'll define it this way, like this, like label then underscore index, so that it will be unique for all the languages. Okay, and for now class name I'll make this as nothing, empty, and then add the anchor tag. Again make this as a block with restricted 32 and padding x4, padding y direction 2, white space no wrap. Okay, and the background I'll make this as a gray 200 something, and if it's a hover, the background I'll make is a little greenish green, as like something, let's say 400. Okay, and if it's clicked on it, we'll redirect it to the route for specific language route. Okay, and the label would be the language name. Okay, so that was it. And okay, so let's define one more list. It's kind of something like, if there is some translation mistake or something that the users want to report, we'll create one more list, assign kind of something like translation error. So once they click on it, it will redirect to the issue section of our GitHub repository or anything, so that they can report that this is the error, so that it can be corrected this way, like that. Okay, so let me use the list tag, and the class I would not decorate anything for that, and add the same styling, same like width 32, background gray as 200, on hover I'll make it as greenish, little greenish 400, and text as extra small, and break into words. Okay, if it exceeds, and the padding y direction 2 and padding x direction I'll make is 4 and display I'll make it as a block and white space no dot. Okay, and for now I'm just giving the link to my GitHub profile, but ultimately we should give the link to the issue section of this repository. Okay, once we are done pushing this code to remote repository, we will change the link here. Okay, fine. So this is thing, and the target I'll make it as a blank so that it will open in the new tab. And yeah, so here I'll make this as something like this, translation error. Okay, so I think this is the pretty much the language dropdown component that we are in need of. So what I will do is we'll go to the index page, and wherever we have written it as a language, we'll try to transfer that component here. Okay, language dropdown. So now let's check the output. Okay, yeah, so if you see, yeah, this is the component that which we have just created on our English Telugu node. So as of now we have not added the next I18 next configuration, so even if you click on Telugu it will not be converted to that. So let's get that thing done. Okay, so get back to the code, and for configuring next I18 next into our application, first we should define the configuration file for that. Okay, so let's name that as in the root section next -i18 next dot config dot js. Okay, this is the place where we should define the language which we are going to support and what should be the default language. Okay, so that is the reason this config file is for. Okay, so the object is i18n, and default locally would be, will keep to English, and this is where this locals array where we should define the all language that we are hoping to support. Okay, so for now I will add only two language, English and Telugu. Okay, so once we configure this, we should go to the next.config.js and let this know that we are using i18n. Okay, so that is, so we'll just import that object. So from just the things we config which we have created. Okay, and then we will configure like this. Okay, so once we let that next know we have configured i18n, so one more place that we should change here is the underscore app.js section. So here we should use app with the translation app, so that it will know that it has to translate to the language which we have selected. Okay, for that what I will do is like and also I'll try to include here the progress bar is as well. So this is a place we should add the progress bar as well, so we'll do both here. So first what I'll do is I'll import this app with the translation, and this is from this, and similarly the next n progress. Okay, so from nextjs progress bar. Okay, so once we have this, what I'll do is I will create one fragment here and call that component page props in this. Okay, and above this we should include that progress component, I mean, and the color whatever you want. I like green, so I'll refer that. And height, how much height the progress bar should be. Okay, I think 4 is decent enough. And green, so we will take it from the tailwind css colors.js file. So okay, so it has to be destructured. Okay, so once this is done, so here I'll try to convert into arrow component. So what we'll do here is we'll remove all this, const as, and do this. Okay, and now we'll, while exporting, we will export with app translation. With translation the above component, so that it gets the job done for us to translate it to the language which we choose. Okay, so so let's check that. So go to index page. So here yeah, in index page again, we should, before even starting this component rendering, to let the nextjs know that we need the common.js file for the language, we should define get static props. Okay, so like this, get export async function, get static props, and here local is the object. Okay, and here we should return in form of a prop so that we can refer them in the above component. So like this, and here server side translation should be called by passing the local object and the JSON file which we need. So the JSON file here is nothing but in the data part, in the public section. Okay, and locals part here. So this common.json file is needed for all the languages. That is what this indicates. Okay, and also we should import this server side translation. So from next I8 in next server side translations. Okay, so let me import that server side translations from next 8 in text server side translations. Okay, so once we have done that, now what we should do is we should restructure the t object using the use translation hook, and that will, using that we can refer to all the key attributes in our JSON file. Okay, so let me write that. So const t use translation, and refer to that common JSON file. So now if we, wherever we have written the content, we can use the t object to translate it to the language which we choose. So let me change the title and all this stuff. So here if I show you an example here, so title is associated with the fastest way to create a readme is readme description and so on. So like that we will map it to the particular respective key values. Okay, so let's do that. Here title, and here to readme, and here description, here description. Okay, and here I get started, and here 100% free. Okay, I think this is pretty much in this home page. So let's check now if it's able to translate to the other language. Okay, so okay, it's not transition, it's translation. So this is not from this, so this is from this one. Okay, I think that error should be gone now. So let's refresh. Okay, I missed something. Okay, this should now be home man. Yeah, so let's check now. Yeah, so there is gone. So now by default we mentioned it as English language, so it is in English. So let's try to convert into the TL language. So you see it has rerouted to the TL route, and it has converted the things which were specified into the language which we selected. Okay, yeah, so that is the language translation pretty much. Okay, so let's change back to the default language. Fine, so that's the pretty much work was pending in the home page. So now we will go to the components and the editor page. So before starting the editor page, I want to create two hooks. One hook is to detect the device which we are on, and another is to make use of the local storage, as we are not using any external database to persist the data that user has selected. So when the user refreshes in between the readme is creating, we don't want the user to lose the data, right? So here we'll make use of local storage. For that we'll create one hook, okay, so that we can refer in the places which we need. So let me create now first use detect device detect hook. Okay, so let me name this as use device detect.js. Okay, so here I'll name this as export default function. I'll name this as use device detect, and I need one state variable, that is mobile or not, so just to keep track of. Okay, so set mobile, and initially I'll make this as a false. Okay, and use effect hook, and make use of the navigator API to get the details I wanted. Okay, navigator. If it's undefined, I will initialize it to empty thing, or else I will take the values present in navigator.user agent. Okay, so once I get the details in user agent, I can confirm if the user agent is matching to any of these values, like is it mobile or Android or BlackBerry or iPhone. Okay, and make this as a case insensitive. Okay, so if the user agent is matching to any of the things which are specified, we'll get the confirmation that the user is on mobile screen. So we will set that respective value to the mobile variable is mobile. Okay, and it's not dependent on anything, so I'll give the empty array, and finally we will return this is mobile thing, so that we can refer in the place we need. Okay, so this is the simple hook to identify the device the user is on. Next we'll go for the use local storage hook. Okay, use local storage. Okay, so here we'll try to create the component for that. So export default function, and name the same storage. Okay, and I need here two state variables, one to keep track of backup. Okay, initially it will be null. Okay, and another is to set a timer. Okay, and this also I will set initial as null. Okay, and use effect, what I will do here is, like, I'll check if there is any local backup. Okay, so here using local storage and get item, So I name this as we would have named this as a backup. Okay, and if there is a local backup, I will just set up this value into the backup variable, okay, which we have defined above. So we'll parse it and then push. Okay, and this is not dependent on anything, so like this. And then we'll define two more functions. One is to save backup, okay, and this will receive input as templates, and I'll use try catch block to catch any errors. If there is any timer, if it's not null, so I will just clear timeout. Okay, then this set timer and to 1 second, and save this. I'll take 1 second to save this backup thing. Okay, so stringify the templates. Okay, so the time would be in milliseconds, so it will be 1000 milliseconds. And catch block, right? So catch blocks, I'll try it. If there is any caught up, I'll just say like fail to create local backup. Okay, yeah, so this is the save backup function. So similarly we'll have one more function to delete the backup. Okay, so I will name this as delete backup. So same here, use the try catch block and directly use the remove item from the local storage object. So here remove, name of it is readme backup, and catch again. If there is an error, we'll just console that error, that is fail to delete local backup. Yeah, so this is the three things we need in the use local storage. And finally we will return that object backup object, and save backup function, and delete backup function, so that we can refer in the place we need it. So this is the pretty much thing we needed from these two hooks. So now we're good. So what we'll do now is like create the editor page. Okay, so I'll create here editor.js. okay, so initially we will just print something. It's then it's an editor page, and then we'll start building here. So let's name this as something like this: export default function. Okay, editor. Okay, and just return here and check the editor section. Okay, yeah, so now we'll start building. So before even starting, what is it the state variables I'd be in need of in this page is roughly, I'll try to write the randomly write the state variables I will be in need of, and then we'll figure it out on building. Okay, so first thing is I would need one state variable to keep track of the markdown. Okay, so I will name this as a markdown, and name this as again set markdown. So use state hook, and initially I'll make this as a empty. Okay, and then next is in the sections part there will be like which sections are all selected, right? So that also I should keep track of. For that I need an array. Okay, so selected section slugs. So here again set selected section slugs, use state, make it as an empty initially. Okay, next I need to keep track of slugs for all the sections. So for that also I need an array. Okay, so here I name that as a section slugs to see which keep track of all unique slugs. Okay, set section slugs and the use state. And so the default section templates I have defined already in the data part. So here, like the standard sections that would be required for creating a readme, I have defined, predefined, and defined in this file. So that I'm referring here. Okay, that is what this, the section templates. Okay, using that I will take all the slugs from that. Okay, so and I'll set the initial values into the section slugs. Okay, next is on which section the user is focused on. So I mean, and which section is he editing, so that also I should need keep track of. So this I will name this as a focused section slug. So this would be set focused section slug. Okay, so initially I will make this as a null. So later again I need one more variable to show if the user has clicked on the download button once he has done the editing the readme part he wanted and is done. I wanted to download that. Did the user click on the download button, so that if he clicks I should be able to show that model like something like, yeah, you have successfully downloaded, so you can go on, so on, so on, like that. So I will name that as a show model. Okay, this is basically this is needed for me to show the download model which I should be displaying when the user clicks on download button, which you will eventually know why I am writing here. Okay, so again I'll make this a set show model, and initially I will make it as false. And then next, to keep track of overall templates, I will need one more array state variable. So I'll use this section templates, and then if user is in a smaller screen, I should be able to see if the user has clicked on the three horizontal bars show drawer icon or not. So here again toggle drawer, so I will make this as a false, and also I will take the backup, destructure the backup from the use local storage hook we have just created. Okay, fine. So this is what I recall the variables are needed. If we forgot something, we can later add it here. Okay, fine. Now as soon as this component renders on the screen, what is it that we should be initializing using useEffect hooks? So for that I will use the useEffects to initialize the things I feel it's required. So if backup is there, okay, assuming the user has refreshed in between the editing markdown, so if there is a backup I will set the templates to that backup. Okay, and this useEffect is dependent on backup. Fine. So every time the backup changes, this would be re-rendered. Next, I will write one simple utility function, get template from the slug. So using slug I should be able to get the complete template. Okay, I'll use the templates array and find using that slug and check with the slug. Okay, so this would give me the template given the slug. Okay, and next one more is I want the focused section slug to be null every time the page refreshes or this component refreshes. Okay, and the next here This is very big one, so I need to keep track of which are selected, I mean which sections are selected and which are not. So this use effect is for that, so I will try to write the logic for that. In this use effect, first I will get the current slug list from the local storage. Okay, local storage dot get item, and it will be named something like this, current slug list. Okay, if current slug list, and check for the index of, okay, title and description is equals to -1. Okay, I mean it's not there in current slug list, and selected section slugs is containing check for again save title and description if the index of it is greater than -1. Okay, that means it is in the selected section slugs. Okay, so then what I'll do is I slice the selected section slugs of this title and description. Okay, fine, I think we are clear with this. So next initially what I will do is the focused section slug, what I'll do, I'll keep on the first index of the current slug list. Okay, so that it will not be empty. Okay, fine. So I'll try to get from the local storage get item and current slug list, and since we have stringified it, so I'll split by comma and then assign the first one. Okay, finally I will set current slug list, I mean kind of update. Okay, selected section slugs, and this use effect is dependent on selected section slugs. Whenever the user is selecting new sections, we try to update the local storage current slug list. Okay, so these are the use effects that I keep think of to make this editor component work. Fine, next we'll try to define the div and make this as a widthful and heightful so that it will occupy the whole screen space. And first here we can write the header part, I mean in the tab section what content it should be visible when you're on this page, but for now I'll leave this as a blank. The next thing is uh, we need the nav bar, I mean the logo and title and also the download button, that stuff. Okay, so rather than writing the code for that here, I'll try to create a new component for navbar and we'll write the code there. Okay, so here what I'll do, I will define the one component called nav.js, and there we'll try to write the code for the nav component. Okay, so here fine, so I will name this as export const now, and for now what and all the parameters it needs is like which are selected section slugs it need. Okay, why you will know very soon, and also set show model because we'll have the download button. So as soon as it's clicked we should set that show model variable, and also we need the get template from the slug we'll have. So and also for a smaller mobile screen you should have the on menu click if he has clicked on 3 horizontal bars or not, and also is drawer open or not, did the user click on them. So these are all the things which we need. And next we will take if we have written on hook to identify the device, right? So we'll extract that is mobile using the device detect. Okay, so and then we'll write the function to download the markdown file. So as soon as user clicks on the download button, you should download that whole markdown. Okay, so I will name this as a download markdown file. Okay, and in this I'll create anchor tag element, so that is document dot create element, and it is anchor tag, and I will create blob object out of the markdown. So here markdown, where did this come from? I'll write that here above. So this markdown is nothing but whatever the user has selected sections, all combined markdown in all this section together, that is what the markdown we are trying to refer here. So the logic goes like this: selected sections slugs. Okay, we'll combine them all markdown in each section using this reduce function, and so here we'll get the template from that section. Okay, and then if template is found, we will combine those all markdown. Okay, like this. So we will concatenate accumulator with the template dot markdown. Okay, so this is markdown, so like this. Else I will return the accumulator, and initially I will make this as the empty string. Okay, so this is what the is nothing but the whole markdown that the user is in need of after having made use of the sections that he was he wanted. Okay, fine. So that is what, out of the whole markdown we are trying to create a blob object, and then I using the URL create a object URL, I will create the create object URL from the above blob object. Okay, then as soon as the user tries to, I'll give the name for this as readme.md, and we will add the click event on this attribute. Okay, so here on second I will trigger the click event on this tag, and if it's mobile and is drawer open, we will call on menu click if it's only mobile, and then we will show that the message like you have successfully downloaded the markdown and so on stuff. Okay, this function is for that, right? So now the logic needed for this component is almost done, so we will write the template for that, JSX template. So here I'll use the use of semantic nav element and define the styling for this. So background, I'll make this as a gray, little darker, and display as effects, and justify between so that there will be a lot of space between them, and padding 4 in all directions, and align as center, and width as full. Okay, fine. So again here I will make use of next link component, and then here if the user clicks on the our logo, he would be redirected to home page, logo or title. Okay, so again here the div and class name, just give the flex and item center. Okay, center, and now we'll give the image class name again, style height as height, and width as auto, and cursor as pointer, and source is readme.svg, which is there in a public folder, and p tag, give the logo. Okay, here so here again so there are stylings that is needed, customized stylings for this application. So I will directly, I'll not waste time writing each and every CSS styling here. So I will just take it from the note which I have kept here. So I will just take that and explain you at high level why is that code handled. Okay, so yeah, so this is the styling. Okay, so here just for full screen max height is calculated like this: view height minus 160 pixel, like excluding the navbar, and a drawer height, how much a drawer height it should be, and if it's a medium, what should be the drawer height, and preview width. Okay, the extreme right part of the editor page, so what should be its width, 80 view width, and the toggle dark mode, and for the editor section, what should be the position of that toggle icon. Okay, that is for this. And here similarly for logo, what font family. And here in editor markdown we'll have a lot of tags, right? P, h1, h2, table, table header, list, order list, unordered list, and all the stuffs, code and all. So for that, just a custom styling. Okay, if it's h1, the font weight should be little more, and also size should be more, and the pretty standard would be margin, padding, bottom box sizing. That's standard. So like that. So for each attribute based on the stylings, we just customize the font size, font weight for all the attributes is defined here. So that is this. So if you have any doubts or confusions, you can feel free to comment in the comment section. I will try to answer there, and also you can refer to the code base which I'll be sharing. Okay, yeah. So now we'll go back to the now component, and here for the title, just a logo, and the text will make this as a white, and margin left as a 2, and the text will make this as a medium size. Okay, and here title will be readme creator. Okay, this is the leftmost part. Now the rightmost part we have to design in such a way, keeping mobile and desktop into consideration. So we'll write this div. So make this as a flex, and flex row. Okay, when flex row reverse, if it's this is like kind of only for media. If it's medium, it's a flex row. If it's a mobile first screen, flex row reverse. Okay, fine. And now the button which I'm adding, this is only for mobile screen, like I'm in small screen. So the styling is like last name focus, outline none, and focus I'll make ring as a 2, and focus ring color I'll make it as a green, as like little 400. Okay, and on click I will trigger on menu click function. Okay, and here inside this we will will write two components here for to show the close icon or menu icon. So rather than writing svg here, what clustering the code here, so here in the icon component section, icons folder, I will create the two components called close.js and menu.js, and add respective SVGs for there, and refer that component here. Okay, so first let me write close.js. Okay, so close.js, so just constant, we'll name this as a constant close, and parameter for custom styling, pass class name, and then SVGs I have created here. I have made note in separately here, so I'll refer this. Okay, so SVG for close is this, so I will refer here, and then export default close. Okay, that is the close component. Similarly, we'll create the menu component. Okay, so here again we'll name this as a menu, and say in the parameter will be class name, and here for this also svg I have noted down here, so I take it from here. Okay, so svg is this one, and export this. Okay, fine. So now we will refer them in the now component. So if drawer is open, what we should show is the close icon or else menu icon. Okay, so is drawer open, what will show is close icon, and give some styling for this. Width as 10, height as 10, and medium it should be hidden, only for mobile screen should be showing, and fill as current, and text color I'll give as greenish, 500. Okay, fine. Or else what we'll do, I will show the menu icon. Okay, for this also the same styling we will give. Width as 10, height as 10, medium will hide this, and fill current, and text will make this green. Okay, fine. So this is for the small mobile screen only. So next we will try to add the bigger button for our website, desktop level screen, medium and above level screens. Okay, this is for this button, and styling is we'll make this as a flex, and flex row, and make this as relative, and items as center, and margin rate as 4, and if it's a medium screen, no margin. So margin rate I'll make 0, and padding expression let's make 4, padding y direction 2, text size smaller, and the weight of the font I'll make it as a bold, and letter spacing tracking wide, so let's make it as a wide, and text color will make that as a white, and also add some border, and the border I'll make that as a transparent, and corners I'll make little curves around an MD, and shadow also little shadow will add on 4 corners of the button, so shadow SM, and background color I'll make again greenish to something like 500, and if it's hovered again we'll change some green to little lighter color like 400. Okay, and focus things, so if it's a focused outline make it as a none, and ring as something like 2. Okay, and ring offset also I'll make it as 2. Okay, same again, this just color ring offset gray, make this as little darker of 800, again focus what should be the color of that, make again it as a green like 500. Okay, so this is pretty much the styling for this button on wider screens, and if on click is calling on click, we will download the markdown, that markdown. Okay, and here for image what we'll do, we will add the download icon, and the content like download content. Okay, so class name will make this for this icon as a hot to with auto, and height as 6, and cursor as a pointer. Okay, and source is download.svg, which is there in the public folder. Okay, and now the download content. Okay, for class name in the small screen we'll make it as hidden, and medium screen it as a inline block, display as inline block, and margin left as 2. Okay, and here I'll name this as a download. Okay, I think this is pretty much for our nav component, and now let's try to refer this in the editor page. Okay, and see how does this look. So going back to the editor page and adding here just beneath the section the nav component. So we will selected section slugs, we will pass this selected section slugs, and as set show model also will pass that set show model, and get template as well, we will pass that utility function, and on menu click for now. Okay, fine, we will write toggle drawer and make it as opposite. Okay, and finally final thing is drawer open, and we'll pass that is show drawer. Okay, fine. So now let's go ahead and see the output. Okay, I missed something. Refresh. Did I miss something? 1 second. Navbar is closed and this is good. Let's check. Okay. Get template selection slugs on menu click. Is on menu click the problem? I don't know. So let's see. Yeah. Unterminated reg expression literal division. Okay, this nav is also closed. Then did I do some mistake here? No. I don't know. Let's check. Mostly I don't know where did I make mistake. This div is closed and expression expected where okay, did I miss something? Okay, fine. So I think it's already been a very pretty long video, so we'll continue from here in the next video. Okay, yeah, so thank you.